Spacehead is ready.
Spacehead is ready. Let's see if my buttons work. Here we go.
Hang on. One. Just.
It's too late, Dave. It's starting.
Starfield Lorecast. Roll call. Co-Commander Dave Chavins. Present. Co-Commander Tom, codename Robot. Present. We are calculating our descent into your speaker station. Stand by.
Welcome, friends, to the Starfield Lorecast. This is your host, Tom or Robots, and I am back with our regular cast of friends. We've got Dave Chavins and returning our special guest, Spacehead. Tooniversal has now become Spacehead, the all-knowing, all-wise, all-wonderful artist, knower of things of space. Welcome, everybody.
Yes.
That is yes. Dave, how you doing, buddy?
Yes.
How are things?
I'm doing well. I noticed, Toon, I don't know if it's in your eye, but you definitely have a floater in your space.
Definitely. There's definitely a floater in my space.
And I'm sure this is really good podcasting for people just listening. So we are live right now at twitch.tv/robotsradio. It is Tuesday. We don't have a regular time yet, but, just follow the channel and we'll let you know when we're going live. And if you are not tuning in live, then you are missing out right now. Spacehead, who is Tooniversal, who's basically a floating head on a very interesting Starfield background. Not actually from the game Starfield, more like some sort of weird cartoon thing with stars.
But it all looks very real.
It's all very real. There's a very real rocket ship flying behind him.
Very realistic.
And every so often there's a very, very real Christmas tree also flying behind him, like a rocket Christmas tree in space. Very, very real. This is the show where we discuss the Starfield game, which has not even had much information out yet. And we dangerously speculate about what little bits of information we have. And the reason why we're doing a second episode is because we have some new information. It's going to be exciting, friends. So strap in to your starships and get ready for some space facts. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Now, Toon, you were asking at the beginning of the episode where Jonesy is. Have you guys seen Jonesy? Where's Jonesy?
I worry about Jonesy a little bit. We haven't heard any more info on him, so I hope that Jonesy is safe somewhere in space.
In space.
I think Jonesy has made the important decision that we all have to make as a personal choice of the level of quarantining that we are doing. And I think that he is in full quarantine mode. I think that is the realm at which he has reached. He was not comfortable. It was clearly unplanned, his trek that he had to take out. So I think he's back home.
So this confirmed now, COVID works in space also. So be very careful. You can still transmit it in space. It is a very, very powerful disease.
Transcends space and time.
Yeah. So on that note, if you're listening for the first time, Jonesy was a reference to last episode when we decrypted the meaning of some text in some screenshots for the name of the character and also the name of all of our characters and the name of our guild, which is probably not even going to be a thing, but we're going to make it a thing for Starfield.
Tom, I feel like if we have to explain every single inside joke, by the time we get to like episode 50, we're just going to be talking about the things that we said before.
That's my plan. I think each episode will be twice as long as the previous episode, which means that by the 50th episode, that would be, say, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32,
carry the
64, 128, 256, 512, 1024. That's a lot of hours by the time we get to 50. It's probably more hours than you have in all of time all put together. So
at that point, we'll need to program like AI versions of ourselves to give the podcast.
Yeah, it'll be like an unending podcast. That's the plan, at least.
Right. Right. And Starfield's going for that next generation technology. And so I think that we should go for that next generation technology.
And speaking of next generation technology, guys, I have a button that does this.
Starfield News.
So, are we going to talk about news now? Because
we are. You did hit the button. We are going to talk about some news. First up today, we have a very interesting interview with Todd Howard.
Yes.
Todd Howard recently did an interview
about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago ish.
Yeah, it's with a conference it's in Brighton, which is in England. That essentially they have developers there. I'm trying to think. Oh, another space game with an infinite universe in which you can expand was also developed in Brighton, known as No Man's Sky. That may come up in
that
conversation.
Heard of that game?
Yeah, that game. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, in a lot of these developers conferences, you have some of the bigger names getting out there that just talking about their process and how they go through things. It's pretty much common ground for them to talk about how development goes on some of their projects, but it's interesting to get some insight into Starfield before it's even released.
Yeah. So what do we know now? What's the new info?
There are some, I guess, bullet points I've pulled from a Reddit thread that has kind of, I guess, instead of us playing the full hour and 5-minute interview here on the podcast, which you can go listen to yourself, there's some bullet points here I want to talk about. Starfield is a single player game. There are no multiplayer aspects. So a lot of people were worried coming out of Fallout 76 that there would be more multiplayer Bethesda games. And this seems like that it is a single player game.
Now, we speculated about this a little bit on the first episode, and seems like it's not going to be multiplayer. So there goes that plan for taking over the universe as Team Jonesy.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Sorry,
nobody put that on their betting sheet, which is a boon to all of us. So as far as the betting game goes, we're pretty good. Next piece of news. I'm doing this as dry as I possibly can.
Go right through it because it's a very serious topic.
This is a very serious topic. A focus on procedural generation during level design is confirmed not only for Starfield but also for Elder Scrolls 6. This is a tool for developers to create massive landscapes and does not mean the land will be ratably generated in real time like No Man's Sky, meaning your game will look exact same as everyone else. This is simply an engine tool to create larger worlds, so expect Starfield to be much larger than Fallout 76 map, which is already 4 times bigger than Skyrim. So it's essentially we're not like activating some procedural code in the background to populate stuff. They're doing it from their end to create stuff that's going to be the same.
Right. So it's not going to be like jumping into like old Diablo dungeons where every time you go back in the same dungeon, everything gets moved around.
Yeah.
It's basically technology on their end to help them create even more space for you to go do stuff, even more space for you to go do things and explore without them having to handcraft every little nook and cranny.
Right. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Which, I'm unsure how that works because, I mean, in No Man's Sky, it's like that, but I'm not sure like the back end, what that even means because like if you go to a planet, No Man's Sky, it's not different for other people. It's the same as you get. But I'm starting to think that maybe these planets, as you explore new ones, are kind of generated on the fly as to what kind of like creatures and what kind of things you have on them. But some interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's very vague. It's either that or they are using the procedural generation in order to plot the area of the game that you're able to access. And then when they use the procedural generation, let's say they're creating a planet. They create a planet using procedural generation, which creates most of the soundscapes of the planet. They They probably generated a few times. They get one that they go, okay, this one we can use. This looks like a lot what we want to use. Create this. It has a certain amount of water. It has a certain amount of mountainous area. It has a certain amount of whatever. And then they probably dig in and craft very specific things for that planet in very specific spots. But they're using the procedural generation in order to create the majority of, to handle most of the work, because not everything needs to be handcrafted. You know, just because, like, think about the landscape in Skyrim, right? Like, one mountain looks a lot like another mountain until you're actually walking up the side of a cliff, and then all of a sudden you're going to need details and things in there. The actual mountains themselves, for you know, if you have dozens and dozens of planets, don't need to be all handcrafted. You just need to have specific places that you're going that are handcrafted. So that could be one option. Right. The other could be that they're just procedurally generating everything. And inside the procedural generation, they have include bits and pieces that can be placed into things. For example, a cave with a certain type of shape that has a certain type of item or creatures or whatever in it. And that will procedurally just get generated somewhere on the map. And then you'll end up having to find it. So it could go a few different ways. Yeah.
It reminds me of SimCity 2000. Remember that? You could like randomly generate your map and you could kind of customize it the way you want to.
Yeah.
It's a deep pull. I like that.
So basically we're using SimCity technology is what I understand here.
That makes sense to me. I'm trying to think what would be like an easy, I guess, like citizens of a city. Like obviously you don't want to fully populate like in Oblivion, every single city is fully populated with people and they all have names and they all have
dialogue.
Having planets full of cities, you know, or like settlements of some sort or space stations, and you're having a bunch of them, you're not going to want to have fully written characters for every single one, because then that's a ton of work. Whereas if you can make a procedural engine that can render believable looking space residents, space people,
space
star people,
starfolk. Heads.
Star heads.
Heads. Persons.
Star persons.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, then that makes it a little bit easier. Moving on. There's been a major overhaul to the creation engine, larger than the jump from Morrowind to Oblivion. So,
which we already knew about. We already heard about that. Huge. Yep. So the procedural generation has me speculating on some other thoughts I want to hit on later on in the episode. Speaking about speculating on some other thoughts, I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the show. One of the reasons why Spacehead, or aka Toon Universal, is with us today is because he has crafted some more artwork for us based on his space knowledge about some of the space ships that will be in the game. So stay tuned for that later on the episode.
Based on my star fact knowledge. Lots of star facts.
Lots of space facts? Star facts? We're confused. We don't know. We don't know.
It's already been a long week. We're throwing around these star facts like we just don't give a you know what. Like it is out. We are out there. We're calling it. This isn't space junk. This is star facts. Like, you know, it's concrete, but we're going to throw them around like you don't even know.
You don't even know. You don't even give a know.
Pluto.
What'd you say?
We don't give a Pluto. We don't give a Pluto what you guys think.
Right. Yeah, we don't give a Pluto.
Planet, not a planet. We don't give it.
Yeah.
So
we don't give a Pluto.
You know what? You know what? Up your Mercury, you know?
Up your Mercury.
That's right. Venus.
Oh! Next piece of news. It's going to be a while until we see Starfield. The release date can be subject to delays. So like COVID has delayed a bunch of stuff, which is unsurprising. They probably had I think every single game development company had an idea for what they were going to be doing in 2020 back in 2019. And that had been thrown out the window.
Except for that one that has all the lazy people who don't plan ahead, but we're not talking about them. There's still a lot of speculation about Starfield releasing fall next year. Fall of 21. I've seen people speculating. I'll just say that.
I want to believe it.
I hope that's true. I hope it's true.
I think it's closer than we can think about, because but you're not going to get a lot of leeway. I think when they announce that they're going to do something, like if it's at E3, then it's going to be in the fall, or whatever E3 is, or the summer of love and fun for the games industry. which is what I lovingly refer to it as. If it's there, they generally have a quick turnaround on announcement, and then it's out. So I think that we will know when we know. We're not going to get a bunch of teasers and doodads and different stuff. If you want teasers and doodads and like too much information, then guess what? You're in the right place.
Sounds like it's from the mouth of Pete Hines. That's what Pete Hines would have said. You'll know when you know, up your Pluto and your Mercury.
And
That's right. We are a contentious show today, friends. So make sure that you are definitely strapped into your spaceship.
Yeah, I'm feeling mean. Some may call me a Flingon. Those are in wait, nope. A Flingon? Yeah, Flingon. That's what
those are going to be actually in Starfield.
Flingons. They are not associated. If you even think that they're associated with Star Trek, you need to get out of here. Moving on, NPCs will play a larger role in future games. Cities will be expansive and large compared to past games. I think that ties into procedural generation.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, I think that makes sense as well.
And it'll be on Games Pass day one. So if you have Xbox Games Pass, you will get it for, not for free, but for whatever you paid the subscription for Games Pass for, and be able to play it when it releases, which is really awesome and a really good deal. And it's one of the best deals, I think, in gaming. That if you just want to play games and you don't want to get too bogged down by stuff, get that Xbox Games Pass.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. The whole connection to Microsoft, Microsoft is, my guess is they've seen some of what is being built out on this. And that was part of the pitch for them purchasing Bethesda. And they said, yes, please. Yes, please. We're putting this on Game Pass. We're going to use it. We're going to get lots of people playing it. We're going to sell lots of this. This looks awesome. So probably good news.
You can play it on your phone. You can play Starfield on your phone.
You can play Starfield on your phone. You heard it here first. Yep. Heard it here first.
I always like to reiterate that I think their strategy with the Games Pass is interesting. They're not trying to play like, I guess, like console wars or whatever. Like they are trying to be like, okay, we've got a killer app. We're trying to take out companies like Netflix. Like we're going for these big. We're trying to consume your time. Like that's what we're here to battle for. So I think that's kind of cool. They're trying to get it everywhere they can. And I'm sure if Sony said, yeah, you can put it on PlayStation, that they would have it on PlayStation as well. Like it seems like that they want it everywhere they can possibly physically get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. So, I think it's totally the plan.
Let's see. Bethesda will continue to support mods in the future. So people who may have missed, I feel like there's a lot of these like interesting bullet points that are kind of allaying fears. I think people were afraid for Bethesda following Fallout 76, where they kind of made it clear that it was going to be like an offshoot rather than the path forward.
Yeah. Every time a company diverges from their normal path with something, the fans who are sticklers for that thing get really weirded out by it, and they end up going, "Oh no, the thing we love is changing. It's never going to be the same again." And you can clearly tell that marketing has done a lot of work to say, "Hold on, everybody. This is just this thing. We still have this thing over here. It's cool. Still making single player games. Still making moddable games. We're still the same company making the same stuff. It's just been a while. So relax."
Moving on, the amount of developers are at least 4 to 5 times larger than they were when they worked on Skyrim and Fallout 4. Bethesda Game Studios Dallas, Maryland, and Montreal are working on Starfield, while Bethesda Games Austin is in charge of Fallout 76 post-development, with the Brotherhood of Steel expansion coming out in December. I think that's incredibly interesting because I was curious what Dallas is up to, because the last thing that Bethesda Dallas did was Nuclear Winter for 76. They were the ones that came in and said, okay, this is kind of our like getting our feet wet in the Bethesda world. We're going to make this Nuclear Winter mode. And there hasn't been there's been some like cosmetics and stuff, but as far as like new maps and different stuff, I was curious what they were working on. And it seems like that they have shifted their development into Starfield, which makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. 4 to 5 times larger. That is huge. Like, I have to wonder what the scale and scope of this is going to be, or if it's just When we made the jump, going back in time, when we made the jump to HD gaming, when the 360 generation came out, the PS3 generation, teams had to scale up their developers, mostly for artwork reasons, because the artwork was more intensive. The graphics were more intensive. I have to wonder if this is a similar scale to this new generation, with 4K being a thing, and the amount of just different items and things in the game is just going to be so large that it's going to take that many more developers. Maybe it's from the coding side too. Maybe it's more complex, updating the engine and doing all of these things 4 to 5 times. That's amazing. It's a lot of people.
Well, I know like companies like Rockstar that had a bunch of different studios working on a bunch of different things in the past. Like they had Grand Theft Auto 4 working alongside the original Red Dead Redemption. They had expansions to both, like a full-on zombie expansion, or they had the 2 different expansions to 4. And then everybody kind of came together on 5. And then really once they were like, okay, we're going to do Red Dead Redemption 2, which is like considered in like the upper echelon of games from this past generation. They took all of their studios and said, this is what you're working on. You're not working on anything else. Unfortunately, that led to some overall crunch and some strange management situations, but it created a product that was pretty meticulous, which is kind of unrivaled in current open worlds. Everything in there is like to a detail that is kind of astounding at least from my perspective. So I hope that we see the same with Starfield. As far as news, there's more, of course, in that interview from the Develop Brighton conference that you can read up on, get some information on. But those are kind of the big bullet points that I wanted to talk about in our Starfield news segment.
Yeah, I'd love to hear some of your speculation about what some of this means. There's been a lot of speculation on Reddit with all sorts of crazy wackiness. Log into the Robots Radio Discord, check out the Starfield Lorecast channel, and let us know. Let us know what your expectations are, what your thoughts are on this. Is this good news? Do you think it's coming out in 2021? And just in general, what do you think about the procedural generation? How do you think that's going to work? Because if you are a developer, especially if you're somebody who has worked behind the scenes on video games, we'd love to have some insight into that directly as well. So let's move on to Star Clues.
On the night of June 10th, 2018, Bethesda gave us a glimpse at their new space-based RPG. Ever since then, we've been piecing together information in a series that we call Star Clues.
This show only becomes more and more serious as we go, friends. I hope you are double strapped in to your spaceships.
Let me tell you something. There's this level. It's like there's probably when we begin, we're probably lawful good. Okay. And then there's a pendulum that swings, and the more and more we get to chaotic evil. Mm-hmm. And boy, do I want to get there. Mm-hmm. That's where I want to end every day, in chaotic evil.
That's how I know I did a good job. And we don't go diagonally across the grid. We don't just go right through neutral. No, friends. We zigzag. We create a Z shape. And then another Z shape. We go all the way to chaotic good, and then back to lawful neutral, and then to chaotic neutral, and then to lawful evil, and then to chaotic evil. It's a long trip. So what do we have? Go ahead, Dave. I was going to segue, but
I was going to say that it was, at this point, I'm clueless as to your segues. Obviously, when you've been podcasting for this long on our second episode, we should be pros at coming up with segues.
We should be.
So let me. Here's what I'll do for our audience. I'll offer this time now for a possible segue into what we're talking about. So, Tom, this is the opportunity.
By the time the show ends, if we're at chaotic evil, I have a feeling one of us will no longer be living, and it might be me. Let's move on to Star Clues. What do we have this week, Dave? Oh, Toon, what's up?
I was going to say I'm only an eighth of a person already, so I've got that going for me.
We can't decapitate you because that was not going to do anything. So
I'm going to call where you are. You're in the Starquarium.
Starquarium.
listeners at home, imagine yourself that your head has been placed in a box of space that is lively. There's glitter. There are rockets. There's even a Christmas tree
with space rockets on it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Toon is right now. that is the headspace in which he occupies.
I know what you're saying. I'm giving a whole new meaning to the talking head. You know?
Yes. Starquarium. That is where you reside, my friend.
Starquarium.
Starquarium. Well, this is exciting. Can we keep talking about the Starquarium?
I'm going to do the segue. I'm going to do the bit now. I'm going to do the bit now.
Go.
Let me send out my warning. There has been some mighty fine speculation about this little tiny logo thing that we had originally seen in the E3 trailer that was from 2018. That we saw kind of in the reflection. There was some, everything's in the reflections. If we look close enough at the reflections of what Todd Howard has given us,
the reflections reveal all.
The reflections reveal all. They reveal our one true God. And they notice there's this kind of like circle with a little bit of a lazy obtuse angle within it. That's what I call that.
Yeah, for our live viewers and those of you watching on the Robots Radio YouTube channel, check this out. The image is too large on my screen. Let me adjust it. There it is. That's the image. Over
the course of some interviews with some of the staff at Bethesda, there have been some shirts that have this kind of patchy thing on the side of their shirt that looks similar to this star with the lazy obtuse angle, or circle with the lazy obtuse angle.
Lazy obtuse angle. Okay, go on.
The lazy obtuse angle. But now there was another shirt that it looks like it is that lazy obtuse angle indeed has maybe become a sun or planet. And above it are what I would only say are stars.
Diamonds. I think maybe diamonds. Diamonds is a potential other possibility.
That's true. I
mean, it could be a fireball with diamonds underneath a dark semicircle.
I think I think that it is really just a Pepsi logo.
Okay,
it has some extra dots. I think that is
it's Space Pepsi. It's Space Pepsi. That's the fizz. That's the fizz that comes off the Pepsi.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm about that life.
Yeah. Well,
confirmed. Jonesy loves Pepsi.
Confirmed. On this image here, we have the E3 2020 reveal had a funny half circle, right? We've got the 2020-2018 leak, which has the image with colors with orange on the semicircle at the bottom with the little dot diamond things and the kind of a dark blue. And then the shirt that Dave is talking about was from one of the members of Bethesda. One of the Bethesda team was wearing a shirt, and on the sleeve you could see roughly the same shape, only in like a white on top of the blue of the shirt, which matches the middle symbol. So it looks like this is a thing. This is some sort of symbol that's going to show up in the game, and probably a logo type icon or something.
A lot of people wear production shirts if they're on production teams for big movies, especially for blockbuster films like the stuff from the Harry Potter world, the stuff from Star Wars, Marvel. They have production team shirts that they wear throughout that are made for that. Now, what does that cause? That causes leaks of on-set maybe cast that they haven't announced yet. The movie industry is very different, where what everyone's working on. Like you get it. Like we know about Marvel movies up until 2030. Like
right,
we know
right.
There's going to be Doctor Strange 5 and the creature from the Black Lagoon is going to show up.
He's a hero now. He's on the Avengers.
Yeah, he's on the Revengers Avengers. They had two different rebirths in which the names changed a little bit. I think that this is very intentional. This like shirt wearing. I feel like that they were like, okay, we got to give them a little taste.
Give them a little something. We can't put an Xbox Series X on the shelf behind us because that's not going to be news anymore. So we're going to wear a shirt with a logo on the sleeve that you can barely see. Yeah.
Exactly.
This isn't like a big meal. This isn't like a big like good old fried rice combo from the Chinese restaurant. This is just like a little bit of duck sauce they just threw out there. You know, this is just like a little spicy bit. Can
I pitch some speculation around this duck sauce?
Yes,
that's what I came for.
Yeah, and I want to hear Spacehead's thoughts on this too. This symbol, what does this symbol actually represent in game? It may be the symbol, like the icon for Starfield in general, that shows up on things. We don't know yet, but it would fit in the circle of the Starfield logo that we currently have seen with the Starfield and the circle on it, right? But what does this represent in game? Because it's on the sleeve of Jonesy in the screenshot, obviously. So is Jonesy a part of an organization? What does this represent? What organization is this? Does it represent an organization at all? Is it
Maybe
just
he's part of the Starfield.
Is the Starfield an organization?
Maybe it's a corporation.
Corporate space corporations.
Getting into the wrong game.
That could be a thing. He's a space corpo.
Or he's an explorer. Maybe he's an explorer.
The Starfield is an exploration group, kind of like during the time of the discovery of the Americas, where Europeans would be part of like trade groups that were claiming different parts of land. Do you think maybe he's part of a corporation that is settling space in order to gather resources? And this is one of those corporations?
I think that's exactly what he's doing.
Like the West India Trade Company or something like that?
He's an explorer. He is Fernando de Soto.
We can call him Jonesy Fernando. Jonesy de Soto.
Jonesy de Soto. That's his initials.
Fernando Jonesy. Jonesy de Soto. I think I like that one.
Jonesy de Soto. Yep.
That's his full name.
His full name.
I'm curious if they're gonna retread the ground of having different corporations, because like Fallout is all about capitalist consumerism through and through. Like that's kind of the theme of all of that, and we really haven't seen much in the way of like stuff not centered around that. So I feel like that maybe like they're
thematically,
like thematically, like the like a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to be like Tesla in space, or what is SpaceX? That's the name of the company. But I feel like that's ground that's already kind of been covered for them. So I'm of the opinion that it's more like straight up, like this is what NASA is now. Like this is a like collective of people or countries that are going out into space trying to figure out the Starfacts. Like I feel like this could be like the Starfact Discovery crew. Like this could be.
Yeah, Odie Wan in chat says the Pepsi Kingdom. Maybe Pepsi has created their own space fleet and is now colonizing the stars.
My question, would it be Crystal Pepsi because of the diamonds in the logo?
I think that's accurate. Yes.
Absolutely. This is an alternate future that divided from our current timeline, exactly where Crystal Pepsi was released into the population, and in this alternate future, it takes off. This becomes the savior of all humanity.
It becomes Pepsi.
Yeah.
They just call it Pepsi in the future. They don't even call it Crystal Pepsi.
No, it's just Pepsi now. Yeah, everybody knows Pepsi is crystal. It is clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Crystal Pepsi in its design, it is a scientific marvel, because you look at it and you think, you know what, that kind of looks like Sprite. It's got to taste like Sprite. But then you drink it and you're like, holy Venus, this thing tastes exactly like Pepsi. That's the science of it all. I think this is going to be a heavy science game, and we got to bring along our technological marvels. I feel like the Crystal Pepsi is the most likely candidate to bring along into space as the official drink of space.
Yeah, I think so too.
LeBron James drinks Sprite. John Hamm makes ads for Coca-Cola, and
Jonesy drinks Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah, some people don't know that Crystal Pepsi actually defies gravity, so it's easier to handle in space because it still sits at the bottom of your drink, like your glass, so you can actually drink it out of a glass still.
And if you ever, the thing that we've learned in this podcast is everything, the reflections tell us all. And there's a lot of reflections with Crystal Pepsi.
It's ray tracing. I mean, it makes sense. It is the beverage of ray tracing. So you've got that. I think
it's not even ray tracing. It's just like rays. Like there's a tracing about it. They're just like showing out. It's like the prism of sodas.
Ray Charles. I bet they listen to Ray Charles.
You got the right one, baby.
Yeah. So can we call Crystal Pepsi in space a space fact at this point? Do you think
Space
that there's
fact.
enough here?
I feel
This
like,
is a new
I
space
feel like
fact.
there's enough there.
Okay.
Yes.
This is officially a new space fact. There we go. New space
Crystal
fact.
Pepsi confirmed. Starfield.
Claimed Crystal Pepsi in Starfield. So, any other speculation on the star clues, guys? Any other thoughts?
We're left a little dry here. I mean, we had to take a good portion of this podcast to talk about Crystal Pepsi. So here's if Bethesda is listening, leave a few little morsels for us. You know, we're just like little Christmas mouse, and all we want's a little crumb of the cookie. You know, leave us out that little crumb of the cookie. I want a little bit of the crumb of the Starfield cookie.
Yeah, give me some of that Starfield cookie. Hopefully, it tastes like Crystal Pepsi.
I hope so.
What crystals can form solid things? Crystal Pepsi cookies. This is the second piece of this new space fact.
I feel like we've just reached a whole new state of matter. I mean,
whole new state of matter. All right. Well, on that, why don't we move to the middle of the episode? Because we have some speculating to do and some wonderful new screens to show you guys from Tooniversal. I noted last time that transition music is a little bit too long, but I figured might as well keep it so we can jam out a little bit. We are in the middle of the episode. This is the place where we take a breather, where we relax, because this is a lot of hard work, friends. Doing this much news reporting and speculation, my pulse is up. I don't know about you guys. It's also the place in the show. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, you know what? I really like relaxing, and when I want to relax most, I drink Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal Pepsi sponsoring the show, not regular Pepsi. Regular Pepsi does not sponsor the show. Crystal Pepsi from the alternate future that is Starfield is a sponsor of the show. So thank you to them. You can't actually purchase it right now. So if it does become purchasable, we'll let you know, and then you can help support the show. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Make sure that you're subscribed to us. If you're listening to us some other way, like maybe live on Twitch or watching videos on YouTube, search for us in your podcatcher because you can subscribe. Our episodes are kind of random right now. We're just doing episodes when new info comes out. So until we get some more regular drops and updates, probably a good 6 to 8 months from now, we're going to be doing some regular or irregular episodes. Irregular episodes. That sounds like a medical problem. All right, let's get on with the rest of the show.
Welcome to the Cult of Astrology.
Welcome to the Cult of Astrology. This is the part of the show where we discuss our wildest, dangerous, and potentially explosive predictions about what is the game of the Starfield. Dave, you have some thoughts on the procedural dialogue.
Yeah, I wanted to have a discussion about procedural dialogue because as a cult, we have to have when we meet together on this finest day to praise our one true savior Jonesy, which we all owe a debt of gratitude and servitude. Before we even get into the discussion, I wanted to kind of have an exercise.
I owe some lunch money too. Don't forget that. Thanks, Jonesy.
We're going to do an exercise because group activity builds us. It demonstrates who is a leader among us. It demonstrates who is a space wizard among us. Only through exercise are we able to ascend, both in gravity. So I have an experiment for both Tom and Toon. This won't take that long.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you some things, and I just need you to give me the first thing that comes to your head. Okay.
Okay, I love
At the same time, like we're talking over each other.
No. I'm gonna ask each one of you individually.
Okay.
So there's four questions apiece. All right, Tom.
I'm ready.
Give me a proper noun.
Pepsi.
All right. Toon. Give me a food item.
Pepsi.
Give me a popular store, Tom.
The Pepsi store. That's not a real store, is it?
It's the first thing that came to your mind.
Okay.
Toon. If you could name a planet, what would you name it?
Mr. Roboto.
I was hoping you were going to say like Mars 2 or something like that. Mars the
Tom.
sequel. Yes, Dave.
Name any tool.
Dave. Oh, you mean like
what?
a actual like a physical? I'm sorry.
God.
A nail clipper.
Tool.
That's a tool.
Sure.
If you broke a body part, what would it be, Toon?
Femur.
That sounds painful.
It is painful.
We are progressing through the moral chart at this point, so painful might actually be appealing. I'm not sure exactly where we are in the moral chart. Towards the bottom somewhere.
Tom, name me a famous person.
Elvis Costello. You guys thought I was going to go with regular Elvis, but I changed it up.
And lastly, Toon, give me a verb.
A verb. Ran.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you men about procedural dialogue. Obviously, if you're making up a bunch of dialogue, you're going to need to have some base standards to go off of. You're going to need to input some things into the system, so which it can mix them around and create its own dialogue.
Right, base standards. So like you up the 100 hertz area. That's generally the sweet warm spot in the voice.
Right. The best way to visualize this is through an ancient art called Mad-libbing, which these fellows have participated in. And so we have today, in this very moment, through this very exercise, created a particular short story for you all to listen to today.
A space lib, if you will.
A space lib.
I am on the edge of my space seat.
Are you prepared?
That's what that means. Yes.
This is Captain Pepsi of the Starship Pepsi. We need to engage the Pepsi store thruster to get to the planet Mr. Roboto. We have need of your nail clipper because our femur broke. Contact Elvis Costello so that we can ran to its moon. And that's it. That's the story.
That's an actual quest you're going to go on in Starfield. This is a side quest. This is a side quest.
Bethesda developers, I hope you were listening to the show. And now, screw that. We are clearly already talking about something that is actually in the game. That there is a character named Pepsi who flies a ship named Pepsi. And yes,
he works at the Pepsi store.
He works at the Pepsi store. And
no, he has a Pepsi store style thruster. So he doesn't work at the Pepsi store. He bought his thruster from the Pepsi.
But that makes sense because Pepsi has a fleet of ships, and so they have to make the parts for the ships. That totally makes sense. The thing that I'm most confused about, and maybe once we actually play the game, we'll get some light shined on this little section, is how exactly you can deal with your femur using nail clippers. I don't really understand how that works, but...
have you seen the movie Apollo 13?
Yes.
You know, when they're like, we got to fit the square thing into the circle thing.
Right.
And they're like, how do we do that?
Yeah, they got to MacGyver their way home. Yeah, totally.
That seems like you got a broken femur and you got a nail clipper.
Boom.
And
Problem
you're
solved.
Fix it.
Crisis averted.
Yeah. Yeah, we need Tom Hanks and MacGyver in the same spaceship. We'd always make it home. Yeah.
And Jonesy.
So what kind of procedural things do you think? What things do you think we're gonna see? If things are so randomized, things are so put in there, what do you think?
Yeah, I have some thoughts on procedural generation. I also have some thoughts on procedural dialogue, because if they make procedural dialogue, I hope that it is good 98% of the time, and then 2% of the time we get some typical Bethesda bugs that happen in the procedural dialogue, where things like nail clippers and broken bones get mushed together for some reason, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'll go on the quest anyway. I hope that happens. Toon, what do you think?
I do too.
I mean, I'm interested to see how they use the procedural format to populate the worlds. I mean, we were just talking about it earlier. Hopefully this means that gets to the game quicker, though. I think that is what I really want. Is like I think if it's happening in this way, and they're using this technology to replicate worlds and people and populate things more quickly, hopefully this gets us a game that works well sooner.
Yeah.
Do you think Todd Howard has a supercomputer that's watching all the episodes of Star Trek and then is like formulating it to write its own script?
Yeah, but his name is Elon Musk. Like he's
sitting with his buddy Elon Musk. Yeah.
Elon Musk is a supercomputer basically at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. He started out as a man. He's slowly been replacing himself. He's not actually a human anymore. Do you guys know that? I thought that was common knowledge. I thought
he's a synth.
Yeah, he's a synth, and you know what? He used some procedural dialogue generation for his own kid. So
I mean, that's how Elon Musk talks. He basically is just procedurally generating dialogue, and that's how he comes up with his crazy ideas that are amazing. And now we've got better batteries and SpaceX. So that's,
you throw grass at the fence, something's gonna stick.
Yep. Yeah, you just gotta throw a lot of grass. So I have some thoughts. Here, and I want to hit these pretty quick because I'm absolutely dying to get to Toon's drawings and to our Game of Stars, which we wrap up the show with. But here are some thoughts that I have. If you have a world that's procedurally generated and it's going to be absolutely massive, then you're not going to be able to hand place NPCs everywhere, right? And we know that this game is based off of real world exploration of space, the dangers of traveling far away, maybe even things like the likelihood of there being planets that aren't inhabited. In fact, most of the planets that you would land on wouldn't be inhabited. It wouldn't have actual life on them. They'd be pretty barren. So going down that rabbit hole and tying to some of the things that Bethesda has worked into their games before, what is Bethesda like? Bethesda loves ancient gods and ancient civilizations and histories of things that are uncovered and stories that we're exploring and discovering. So what if we end up on these planets and we don't necessarily find current inhabitants and aliens? What we do find are the remnants of societies that have passed away, that are no longer there, intelligent species that are leaving behind the remnants of their worlds in order for us to uncover what's actually going on with those worlds, or where those people currently are now, because they're no longer on those planets. And what if all of this is tied to, and I wore this shirt on purpose, that is Cthulhu, my friends. Old gods. That is my new speculation.
Kind of reminds me of Stargate. Remember Stargate?
Yeah.
Ancient civilizations,
Right.
Coming through the old Stargate, the Starfield. All right. I think we can confirm some of the actors from Stargate are going to be a part of the voice acting for Starfield. Yeah,
what's her face? The lady who was on Stargate, it has been on Supernatural, but that show's done now, so she needs something to do.
Starfield, boom.
Starfield. That's it. Richard Dean Anderson, what's he doing lately? I don't know.
Starfield. That's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing. I mean, Cyberpunk gets Keanu Reeves. Why can't Starfield have Richard Dean Anderson? They're basically the same level stars, right?
I don't see the problem with this at all.
Wasn't Chris Judge?
And he on... Wait. And Richard Dean Anderson played MacGyver. He was on Stargate and MacGyver.
My space head just exploded.
Perfect. He would be the perfect. Your space. Yeah, I'm glad you put it back together so quickly. This is perfect. I think this is another star fact, my friends. Spacefacts.
I'm curious how he gets the nail clippers and what what do we do with the nail clippers? How much weight are they? Can we put them in our backpack? What can we solve with nail clippers? That's my... I'm walking away from this wondering all of the things that I could possibly do.
I have one answer for you right now. The nail clippers are 0.1 in the weight.
That's good. Yeah.
They're 0.1.
0.1?
They're 0.1.
0.1. 0.108. Space weight.
So can we say ancient gods, Richard Dean Anderson, and ancient civilizations? Is this a new space fact?
Space fact.
Space fact?
I would say
Space
so.
fact? All right.
I would say so.
Space fact.
I can't, that sound is good. That sound is very good.
That's
that sound.
the confirmation sound for space fact.
Space fact.
When the space fact is finally found, when it's revealed itself unto us.
We celebrate. We celebrate with a woohoo! All right. Well, let's move on because we have some drawings to get to and Game of Stars. And we're already like almost an hour into the show. So let's get to these images. Tune, which image should I pull up first?
No, why don't you just tell me and surprise me,
Okay.
Surprise the audience too.
All right.
Now, I will say about these, these are confirmed Starfax images, concept art of vehicles, starships, I should say, that will most likely make it to the game. I don't think these are. I don't think you can leave these on the cutting floor. I think they're too good.
Yeah.
So
the Starfield consciousness has beamed these directly into your floating head, and you have now used your amazing artistic skills to render these for everyone to see. So first up, we have what you have titled the Bi-Fighter.
Bi-Fighter. This is a starship that has two wings, hence the name Bi. The Bi-Fighter has a pod that a co-pilot sits in, and this is something totally original that is from the brain of the Bethesda team.
Yes.
Really smart, really well done.
Dave, does it remind you of anything? What do you like about this?
The wings. It's kind of like. They're kind of like when you get a package and you take everything off of it and layer, and you get like two pieces of cardboard, and then you just stuck them in between, like you put like a little pod or like a little circle in between them. Yeah, and then it flies.
I think it kind of looks like an iBot with two pieces of cardboard stuck on the side.
Maybe that's what the reference is more like. Maybe it's more like an iBot with cardboard. I think,
So a Bi-Fighter. I see. There's like these axes on the wings, though. They're kind of like drawn. Would you call that an X-wing on a Bi-Fighter?
I think these are probably some sort of solar collectors to collect energy to power the Bi-Fighter.
Maybe this is an X-wing Bi-Fighter.
Maybe it is an X-wing Bi-Fighter.
That might be how it works. All right, well, let's move on to our next one. Next one. Speaking of something that has a very similar sounding, this is strange. It has a very similar sounding name. We have the Vex Wing Fighter.
Oh, the Vex Wing. Oh, yeah, classic. Yeah, the Vex Wing. It actually has these scissor-like wings that pop out, so it can go from kind of being stationary to sort of this scissor formation, and sort of can spread out the space lasers it has on there.
I like space lasers. I also like that scissors are very similar to nail clippers.
Yes, you're getting the same lever action.
You know how a lot of like when George Lucas is thinking about, and this has nothing to, and then these things aren't even close. But when he was thinking about designing spaceships, he thought about a lot of household items. And I think that this is like a meat thermometer. Like if you really got to get your meat temperature,
I can see it. I can see it.
You want readings from like deep in the meat, but also from the surface level.
Right. Like one main thermometer with four little thermometers that put in around it, so you can get all the different locations. I agree. And then the little lights at the back, the little red lights are like readouts for each of the temperatures.
There it is. Boom.
I think that's good. Let's move on to the next one. We have two more, and then one from one of our listeners, Crystal King.
Oh, nice.
In chat.
I'm
so we'll get to that one last. Yeah. So this one is the Sentry Bird of Prey. What's going on here, Tune? What are the voices
Sentry
from
Bird
space
of Prey
telling you?
I think part of this was inspired by a pizza box and pepperonis. I think that was part of where they got the. And I'm not sure where they got Sentry Bird of Prey from, but it's a long name. I think they can probably shorten it to something else, though.
It doesn't look much like a bird. I have a feeling it flies like that way. Maybe this side is the
I think
bottom
maybe it
left?
flies. I think it flies like this, actually.
Right. Let's describe this for our listeners at home. This looks like, I don't know. This is tough to describe, guys. I'm just going to go out. This is the closest thing I can think of to describe this for our listeners at home. Have you guys seen Star Wars? It's kind of like the Millennium Falcon, but totally different.
Okay. Millennium what? Millennium Falcon?
I don't know. It's not really. It's not really like that at all.
Here's household items. I go back to this. This is like, I know. Listen, I know my space stuff, and on the back of that, that's a cheese grater. I tell you, if you're getting a slice of cheese, I mean, think about how like space age a cheese grater is. Like, think about that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I can see it.
Uh-huh.
Does that fly against other ships and then like grate the?
It like chops them.
I think that would explain the flying. You know, if you can flip this like 90 degrees, it would show you the way that it flies. Yes,
Yeah.
I think the grading aspect of it is what it does to shave off pieces.
And here's the thing. Let's say you're working on like a kind of a surface where you can stick stuff. Like you're normally like cutting cheese on like a styrofoam board. You're going to be putting that, like you can stick those two prongs at the end of it and you can like stick it down in there and then it's stationary. And then you don't even need to hold the spaceship.
Yeah.
Or where am I? Cheese spaceship. If you're flying on a planet and you're trying to grade another ship, you just land right in that satellite next to it and just like grind it out. You know, this is like a real grinder of a ship.
I think those two protruding things in the front, that's actually like the landing gears. It actually lands on those.
So it walks on them like legs. Yeah. Fragile Shark. Mobile, yeah. Fragile Shark in chat says looks like a Genesis controller on the right hand side. So like there's little Genesis controller buttons over there.
Could have been.
Yeah, maybe it's like a giant's frisbee. They just hold it, they throw it.
Yeah, maybe it's like a something. I can see a frisbee. So like I wonder if it can like fly and spin, like like flying saucer. Like how the spin. I wonder if it's like designed to spin funny, and when it needs to go one direction, it has its wingtips.
When it needs to grade other ships, it just flips.
Yeah, exactly.
The ship flip,
and it rhymes, so they remember how to use it. We've got one more from you too, and this one is probably the most unique of the group. This is called you've labeled it the Inner Prize. I'm not sure what this has to do with awards of any sort, but
so the Enterprise is actually a flying casino. It will, people on planets will rent this out, and the casino will fly in orbit around, your planet, and then people can take their spaceships and fly to it and spend their space money there.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's as if there's a pizza on the front, like a big round pizza, connected to a series of tubes that then stick off the back with casino written on the side.
And I think those little blue dots represent windows of the hotel that you can stay in.
That makes sense, because you're going to want to see the stars in the Starfield.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. So space hotels. Do they serve pizza at the space hotel? Is that a big? So when you go to like a city, and they have a rotating restaurant. You ever been to a rotating?
That's a rotating pizza restaurant right there. That's what the big thing
totally
is.
What it is. Obviously,
Dave. Yeah, you're a genius. Clearly.
I'm thinking. My first thought when I saw this was when you go to Belk. When you're 8 years old, because your mother took you there. Probably all the Belks are closed now, or whatever it used to be before then. When you're just a little lad and you go, and the only thing fun to look at are some of the household items, and they have a back scratcher, and it looks like that, and it has little handles, and you just start scratching your back. It kind of looks like, instead of a scratcher, maybe a back buffer. You grab two handles, and then you
You're doing like this. You gotta wiggle around kind of centrally in order to make it work.
Here's my thing. I think that Century Bird of Prey and the Enterprise are probably in the same fleet, because once you grind a ship, that's kind of looking a little weird. So what you got to do is you got to get out there and smooth it down. Get the Enterprise out there. You think it's a hotel, and all of a sudden it comes into action.
Mm-hmm.
and it's buffing those ships.
Buffing those ships.
I have to call out RobQ63 in chat, who has noted that maybe the space voices are talking to Rob also. It says here, the captain of the Enterprise is named, get this, Darth Vegas. That's a very unique name.
I think that's very possible that Darth Vegas. I think can we lock that down as another space fact that Darth Vegas is a character in the game?
We just the confirmation just happened immediately.
Darth Vegas confirmed.
We didn't even need to debate that.
Confirmed.
That's not even procedural. That's not even procedural. That's just a narrative bit that we now know.
Yeah.
How much are we going to know by the end of this? I mean, let alone this episode.
Basically, the entire plot of the main story.
Yeah, it all depends on how much the space voices reveal to the space head.
Yeah.
So we have one more from Crystal King in chat, and he delivered this like a prophet, just dropping off an image and then not saying anything about it. So here it is, friends, on the fly. What do you think about this? It is a yellow face, a balding head, who appears to be wearing glasses and has buck teeth, and a red spaceman with a backpack who looks sus to me. He looks kind of
looks a little sus.
Yeah, looks a little sus, a little Among Us,
like around. I think it looks around y'all.
Yeah,
around you all.
Around y'all.
Around you all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, it's clear that there's an evil twin situation, like in the world as we live in it. Like, you're going to run into your evil twin when you die. Like, when you die, you go to a duel and you fight your evil twin, and whoever wins then becomes you. That's you know, that's real life stuff. So, and everybody knows that your evil twin is your name backwards. So I think this is Jonesy's evil twin. Is Naj.
Is Naj. Okay.
Is Naj.
Is Naj.
I think that he may be one of the villains of the story. I don't think he's the main villain. I think he's like a side character.
Yeah, I have some speculation as well. But first I have to say, Crystal King in chat just wrote, it's the protagonist fleeing from a star person. So you might be onto something here. I'm going to toss this idea backwards. I'm going to, but fleeing from a star person, maybe the star person is his evil twin. Maybe that's his evil twin. Or what if that is Darth Vegas?
Maybe it is.
Here, just to get the most clear view on this, I'm going to enlarge it as much as I possibly can. We're gonna get right in here real good.
Enhance.
I'm enhancing. Enhance. Oh, it's struggling. If OBS crashes,
I
apologize.
Big now.
I apologize.
It is so big.
Oh my god.
Oh my. How do we handle that?
Look at that.
It's so big.
That's Darth Vegas.
Is that Darth Vegas? Does that look like Darth Vegas?
Darth Vegas.
Can I get it any larger? I don't know that I can. I think I broke this.
Jonesy, I am your uncle.
Okay. Well, thank you, Crystal. If the space voices tell you anything else about what's going on with the game, please send us the images before you release them to the rest of the internet, because they may not be ready for it, but we are absolutely ready for it. So it is time for our Game of Stars. Dave, what are we doing this week for Game of Stars?
First of all, wasn't there a host of the Game of Stars?
Yes, there was a host of the Game of Stars.
Danny DeVito?
I don't think it was.
He was a soul man, I believe. I think he was a soul man.
Well, you figure this out. I'm going to turn the music up.
He's been out in the country for way too long. His hat has turned brown. It's me, the host of Game of Stars, here to tell you all about the wonderful game this week and to give you the standings. Currently on the board, we have Tom here, and with his theory from last week says there will be a reptilian Stargonians space race in the game. And that was worth 4 points. Dave has one on the board, and there will be gigantic bugs. That's a 1 pointer. Very, very, very easy pick. Next up is Toon, our guest spot, that says something that looks like a warthog vehicle will be in the game. That's confirmed at 3 points. Ladies and gentlemen, I now leave it to our wonderful contestants to discern their theories for the Game of Stars board this week.
All right. Toon, do you have any thoughts? You want to go first? You're a
I
guest.
do. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I'm going to kind of stick with my Microsoft Halo narrative, and I'm going to say that Halo and Starfield are in the same universe.
Same universe.
Same universe.
Mhm.
Halo.
And Starfield. Could be some crossover. Same universe.
Ooh. All right.
What do we give that on a scale of, what was it, 1 to 5?
I think that's a risky prediction. I think that's a 5.
I think that's a 5. Like,
I mean, if
that's
it happens,
a confirmation.
That's like huge. But I think it's very risky. So I think
confirmation.
I think if you get this right, you're getting a lot of points, buddy.
Yeah. That's why I'm going for the risky way. you know?
Yeah.
Like, not a nod. It's like confirmed. Like, beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is in the Halo universe.
Yes, we're going with that. Yeah.
Not like,
That's a 5 point.
they reused a similar model to one of the ships, and so maybe this is none of that stuff. Like, this is clearly
like,
yes,
clearly the same thing. Not like, oh, that kind of looks like the Covenant, or no, that kind of looks like, whatever, Master Chief, Master Chef. No, they're in the same universe. That's what I'm going. I'm going to go out on the limb for this one this week.
All right. Yeah, I'm getting
That's
that
a 5 pointer. I'm impressed.
Right. Yeah.
You're coming in here. You're bringing a 5 pointer to us today.
This is a fastball.
The face is coming in hot here. I can't scratch my nose, but I'm coming in hot.
Hot.
Coming in hot.
Just shaking his face around. All right.
That's all I got.
I've got one, friends. I've got one.
All
right. So I was inspired by our talk of Richard Dean Anderson. And I think even if we don't get Richard Dean Anderson in Starfield, we will have at least one A-list celebrity voicing a character.
What would you
A-list.
consider A-list?
A-list celebrity. Somebody who stars in very popular movies or is absolutely the award-winning type of actor. Somebody who isn't, not somebody who I remember them from 10 years ago when they're on that TV show. Not that. Like Keanu Reeves level A-list celebrity.
Like George Clooney.
Yeah, George Clooney could be
or
somebody.
Tom Hanks.
Or Tom Hanks. Yeah, somebody A-list celebrity.
I can't decide. Okay. All right.
it's the middle for me. It's in the middle for me.
No. This is a 1. They're putting a lot of money out there. They're meeting with Elon Musk,
A-list
Todd
celebrity.
Howard's A-list celebrity.
A-list.
They had Zachary Levi. Like, he was Shazam. That's an A-list. He was a superhero.
I don't even know who that is. I don't know who that is.
He was in the show Chuck. He's like an A-lister.
Nah,
they had him in Fallout New Vegas.
He's a B. That's a B. He was Shazam. Shazam's not. He was like a B superhero. Come on.
It broke box office records. To me, this is a 1. And the only way that you can bump me up to maybe a 3 is if you can make this a little bit spicier. Now, this is a kind of a
spice it up. You need a little bit more spice here.
You need a little bit more spice. Okay.
All right.
Pick.
All right.
No.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Spicy. Female A-list celebrity, not male. Because everyone goes for the male celebrities, right? It will be a female A-list celebrity.
Cortana. It will be Cortana.
She'll be Cortana.
Going with
It'll confirm both of us at the same time.
Not the actress that plays Cortana, just Cortana.
Just Cortana.
Kim Kardashian.
Oh, God. That's spicy. That's a 5. That's a 5. If you go with Kim Kardashian, that's a 5.
I'm not going with Kim. It would be a female A-list celebrity. If it's a male A-list celebrity, not on. If it's a female B-list celebrity, not accurate.
And I mean, that's a pretty limited, there's a pretty limited amount of A-list female.
There's only so many. Yeah. Only so many.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz.
There we go. That would be one.
What if Helen Mirren,
Helen Hunt?
And it can't just be somebody who's like a female celebrity who's been on Star Trek. Okay, that's fine. That's not an A-list celebrity. A-list celebrity. Jennifer Lawrence. That would be one.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, they have to be in they have to be frequently seen in a blockbuster or two.
Right.
Because the blockbusters are how they make their money, and they It's
Yeah.
like Brad Pitt goes in a blockbuster every so often, and then
Right.
he goes off and makes like Curious Case of Benjamin Button, like whatever.
Yeah, Taylor Swift or the girl who played Hermione. What's her name?
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. Yeah, like one of these like this level celebrity. You say their name, everybody knows who they are and has probably seen one of their movies.
I say that's a 3-pointer.
I give it I say still 3. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I say it's a 3-pointer.
I think if you give us a specific celebrity, we're going 5s for sure.
5s, yes.
I'm not that prescient. No, yeah, like I'm happy with 3. I'm good with 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I've got a bit of a strategy here. My strategy is to try to win, ladies and gentlemen. These jokers out here are giving you some pretty. Some would say that they're shooting for the stars. And ladies and gentlemen, my bet this week is that there will be a Zayton skeleton in the game.
From Fallout. For those of our audience who don't play Fallout, the Zaytons are the aliens from Fallout, and they have very specific. Well, here's the thing, though: the Zaytons look like a classic gray or green alien, right?
They will go through the game files and find that they are indeed.
They will be labeled
from the
Zayton,
same model.
Zayton skeleton. It will look like the same model. All right.
Like the
I can give that a 4.
monster.
I
Like
give that
the
a 4.
Flatwoods monster in 76.
Bethesda likes to hide stuff in games. Like there's a Fallout bobblehead in Rage. Like there's like they cross populate their games with little Easter eggs, but specific. Well, but this would make sense. It's an alien. What else would they pull from Fallout other than the alien from Fallout? That's like the first thing they would go to, right? I think it's like
and I'm not saying
it's a 2.
I'm not saying you're gonna go and see a Zayton. I'm saying Zayton skeleton. It's not going to be
specifically
like
a skeleton. It's not going to be a dead Zayton.
There will be a Zayton
skeleton. And the skeleton will not be inside the body of like a dead corpse or something. It'll be like a dried up bones on the ground.
Now here's the thing. If there is a dead corpse, but you see the Zayton skeleton, like let's say that it's like all
their
dried up,
arm is decayed and there's bones. Yeah.
If you see a piece of the Zayton skeleton that looks like, that still counts? Skeletons from Skyrim, still counts. Yes.
All right. 3.
You have to see the skeleton.
I'm going to go with a 3. 3? Tune?
Okay, I'll go 3.
It's a 3. It's a 3. Were you hoping for spice here?
No, I'm actually, I was hoping I was thinking that was a 1, so I'm taking that.
No.
It's specific enough. It's Zayton. The Zayton would be a 1 or 2. Specifically, the skeleton.
We'll give you a 3.
I'll make it a 3. Yeah. Does that include most of the body, or would it it was just a skull? Does that count?
Oh, just a skull. Yeah, it has a piece of a Zayton skeleton.
All right. We said 3. We'll stick with 3. That's fair. That's free. That's fair. All right.
You already said it, so it doesn't even matter.
That's cool.
Reaching for the stars, like your Buzz Lightyear.
Can't change it up. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to this episode of the Starfield Lorecast. I think we're at the end of the show, guys. Anything going on? Tune. Let's start with you. You're our guest. Anything cool happening? What do you got for our audience to check out?
You can check me out over at twitch.tv/Tuniversal Monday through Friday, starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Doing a lot of Bethesda content, mainly Fallout 76. A big charity event is coming up for Fallout streamers, the Fallout for Hope. And I will be streaming during one of those times, raising money for St. Jude's Play Live charity.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great event. Well, Dave and I will be a part of that as well with the Fallout Hub also. So stay tuned for more info about what's coming up with that. Dave, what do you got going on?
You can catch me here at Starfield Lorecast. You can catch me at the Fallout Hub, which is a podcast I do with one of my hosts on the show, Tom, as well as another podcaster, Kenneth Ague. That's mostly weekly. Right now, we're taking a little break before the big old Steel Dawn patch comes out in Fallout 76, which is
speaking of Steel Dawn patches.
Oh, look at you go, putting that patch on. We've got that. I've also got a little podcast to do called Geography Arcade that's kind of on a hiatus for the rest of the year because things are very busy. My life is very, very busy. And I'm sure that everybody's life as they go into the holiday times is also very busy. So that's what's going on in my life. I'm also wearing pants today, which is the other thing.
Oh, all right. Congratulations.
Just want to clear that up.
Our listeners don't know. Dave hasn't worn pants in weeks. Like any pants at all. He's been Donald Ducking around.
I just like to clarify. Every time I'm on the podcast, people are like, what do you have to promote? And I'm like, I need to promote that I'm wearing pants.
Pants. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of pants. Cool stuff. I've got my normal stuff going on at twitch.tv/robotsradio, where you can tune in for any of my Lorecast shows. I'm also part of the Fallout Hub, and I've been streaming during the days. Sometimes I'm just working on stuff. Sometimes I'm playing games, and sometimes I'm doing my new game show, Are You Smarter Than Twitch Chat, where I ask you video game quiz questions, and it's Twitch Chat versus our contestant each episode. And the first episode of that you can catch on the Fallout Lorecast feed or at the Robots Radio YouTube channel. So check out for that. If you are here for that live, then you have the potential to also win prizes as being part of the Twitch chat or a competitor. So make sure you turn on your notifications for the Twitch channel when it goes live. I don't have a regular schedule for it, but there's always a chance that we'll play, and you might win some prizes, over $100 worth of potential prizes to win. So including like video games and gift cards and things. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of the show. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Twitch chat, for being here. Thank you for everyone listening to this in your ear holes. And thank you for the floating head for joining us, Tuniversal. We appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next time. See you later. And my button didn't work. There. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Nope. Ah. There it is. It just has a slow start to it. That's what it is. Gotta cycle through.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. We hope that you enjoyed this show.
Did you know that parodies are copyright protected?
Tell a friend and review
On iTunes
or other services.
Dave and Tom excited for Starfield. Let's all speculate and wear no shoes.
Hey, why aren't we wearing any shoes?
Because shoes rhymes with iTunes, and that's the best I could think of.
Woohoo! All right, guys. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Tune, Dave.
Later.
Fun as always. Thanks for being here.
Fun as always.
Chat.
Thanks for having me on.
Chat.
Again.
We'll see you later. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.